How's it going, my dudes? Welcome to yet another Crossout Clan Wars video. Today I have a really nice build for you that I've really just been wanting to showcase, but wasn't really sure if it would fit into the current playstyle of Clan Wars, because it is nothing less than a Hobby dual Tsunami, and I think you can already hear it. The Hobby is one of the lightest cabins. Like, it's a light cabin because it can literally carry nothing. So having 9 hovers and a Colossus engine and 2 Tsunamis on it leaves little room. And an Apollo also, expanded ammo pack, Doppler, Oculus. There's not a lot of room to armor this up, so you really have to be clever when it comes to the armoring. But I think I've actually done a pretty good job on it, because I'm quite excited about the end result. And the idea, the thought behind this build was just that hopefully it would be able to penetrate through some of the radar meta that is going on at the moment. Like, there's just radars for days on everyone's builds. So I was sort of hoping that with this build it would be able to, you know, just have a blast radius big enough to hit some of the structures that radars are mounted onto, and like, because of that, maybe just ruin some of the Scorpion hovers and Typhoon hovers that we see at the moment. And yes, I know it's just Tsunamis. I'm still, you know, trying not to join the dark side, still not trying to keep too much interest into relics, because I really just enjoy my different legendaries. So I don't want to lock myself onto just 1 or 2 weapon combinations into Clan Wars. I just want to be open about it still. So it was actually such a pleasure playing this build today, and just seeing that we beat quite a lot of relic teams at the end. This first match specifically, we were playing against a lot of spiders, as you saw, and for that matter, since we had 3 hovers in the team, we honestly just wanted to rush their cap as soon as they started moving for our cap. So there's not a lot of action going on here in the first match. You saw us fight a bit. You might have also seen me, there's a bit of a gun depression problem on this build. You know, when I crossed the bridge and I wanted to shoot down a river, I actually couldn't do that very well, because there's a bit of a gun depression problem, mainly because the guns are mounted on top of the Hobby. And the Hobby cabin is a very small cabin, so if I want to armor up the hovers in the front, then goes some of my gun depression. But it works out okay. This is the most ideal setup that I could fix, in my opinion. If I was to use parts to mount the guns on, then I would have the issue that, like, they would fall off easier, and I would have to use some of my armor that I'm using to armor up the vehicle itself. I would have to use that for gun mounts, and that would just mean less space to armor, which we do not want on this thing, because just look at that HP pool, 670 HP. People just look at me and I disappear. Like, Helios is really my worst enemy. But really first nice first game here. A super exciting match versus 16k. As I said, we got the first win on the cap because we just pulled a nice strategy on them. But the second game was actually quite different. Because as you will see later on here, and first and foremost, it's just a long brawl. When we played this match, I literally hadn't played Tsunamis in a couple of weeks, so just have to readjust that aim, get used to the bullet drop and stuff. But it's slowly getting there, luckily, so it's gonna be better, guys. Don't you worry. I don't miss that many shots in this in this recording. It could have been a lot worse, trust me on that one. But this second game here is a bit more, like, some would say interesting, some would say boring, because the enemy team actually camps out a lot here. I try to utilize what I can and some of the idea behind this build, which is just to, you know, stay on the move all the time, be somewhat unpredictable. Missed that first shot, by the way, totally on the Helios. I shot way too high. If I hadn't, I would probably have stripped off his guns already, but yeah, just make it extra exciting. But we keep the brawl just going here. I'm just moving around a bit. As you can see, this build has a lot of speed built into it, which is what I enjoy about it so much. So that if you have, like, if you play against spiders, I just like to reposition over and over again, you know, just all the time go for a new position. As you can see, look at that. This just takes me 5 seconds to get on top of a bridge, while I was from being underwater. You can't do that on an icebox hover. And yes, it's two different builds because an icebox hover can tank 10 times more shots, but I also do believe that the mobility in this build helps me dodge a lot of shots that I would otherwise have been hit by if I was playing an icebox hover. So, you know, everything has its pro and cons, but I just like being in a build where I can be fast and agile and move about as I need, as much as I needed. Hit that shield on the Helios this time. Kind of boring. Is what it is though. He got away with it, so I'm just gonna have to live with it. Hit the shield again. He's a dual Helios, by the way. That's why he eats a lot, but end up getting a pretty solid hit there on him at the end, which I'm really excited about. But this match was just a lot of brawling back and forth. Bridge is literally the map that I'm hoping they will soon have a look at and maybe just give us a few different entries like over to the opposing side, so you don't just have a freaking bridge and nothing else to cross. But let's see what they figure. Hopefully they will figure something. They have said that they are reworking a lot of maps lately, so we might end up getting lucky. And while we're at it and waiting for this first match to end, guys, we're almost at 3,000 subscribers. So if you haven't done it already, hit the subscribe button down there below. It's totally free for you guys, and it helps me out a ton in these videos if you hit that subscribe button and stay updated to my videos. So do go ahead if you feel like it. And having said that, this match is actually slowly coming to an end, and not really sure how, but Flat died down there, so we all of a sudden really had to stress it and get a kill. So we just had to go full pushing them because they were pulling back, so that was literally the only thing we could have done. But, and I like to say that this was the Hobby Cabin's fault. Look at this. Bam. Lovely hit on top of him. Probably hit his generator or something, but literally 1600 cabin damage in one freaking hit. So we can actually end him with just 20 seconds left, and now it's just time to go for a hard pull back in order to stay alive and just wait it out here for the final 12 seconds. So really lucky shot there at the end, which luckily enough got us the win in the first game. Moving on to the second game, and we are lucky enough to get Bridge once more. I wanted to include this game just because, again, there's some really nice shots in this game that I really enjoyed, and one of those being again some generators popping, which is, of course, as usual, I'm blaming it on the Hobby Cabin and the functionality of this combination of tsunamis and the Hobby Cabin. Because you might be looking at this build and thinking, why would you do this when there's typhoons and scorpions everywhere? And I do it for the same reason that I've always given to you guys. I don't care about the relics that much. Like, I know relics, and I know I will have to get them eventually because it's becoming a part of the meta. I don't say they shouldn't be there because, of course, the most competitive weapon should also be the most dominant weapon in Clan Wars. I'm just saying that we need, like, ideally we would just have a full branch of relics, you know, relic variant of each weapon in the game right now, so that again it would be even out the battlefield just a bit more instead of just having two dominant weapons in Clan Wars. Imagine if the entire Euros forum wasn't just full of people complaining about the nice shot, Treeburgers. Wasn't just complaining about the functionality of the Punisher. If people hadn't complained that hard, we might actually would have had a Punisher that was just decently functional. But since everyone complained about it, devs had to nerf it to shit before it was even released, and thereby giving us a relic machine gun that never had any functionality and probably never will, if they won't give it some love soon. So that's mainly just why I want to stay away from relics, because I just like the variety in different guns, and that's also due to me not really caring too much about going going for top tiers. I feel like I've proven myself before. Like, I've played in clan with a lot of good dudes. We pushed Detonation to top 38 without even trying with our composition, and with having, like, what did we have? 2 relics total in the team. We had Rebus, and I think we had a Helios, and then I honestly don't remember the entire setup. So it's just not about going top tier for me. It's not funny, and it's not what some of the other guys strive for either. So, but back to the game. As you can see, a lot of rotation going on here. It's sort of forced on us to stay back a little bit until we see where the dogs are, because we have some hovers and they have dogs. So in order to not just throw this, we have to gain some map control before we start fighting with those dogs, because if we don't, they will just get super scary. So it's what it is. We still got the win in the first round, so that is super nice. And again, just waiting for them to come to us, which is what we, as I said, have to do. I'm usually not a fan of camping, especially not when you're playing hovers. I really just want to swarm the enemy and gain a lot of map control and stress them like that. But it is effective to just wait for the dogs to get close to you. So that is what we're doing. The reason that you see me rotate over here is actually because I thought the dog was going to come this way, and I just wanted to meet him as his cloak just ran out. But he turned around, went for Lith, so we could land some damage onto him there. Seeing that he is under control though, I just wanted to go meet the rest of the guys coming in and land a really good hit there on their Typhoon hover. So the Spider Typhoon is also crawling up, or Spider Tsunami should say, is also crawling up. And then on the map I see the Typhoon hover actually going for a flank here. So I cloak up, go back to him, and just enjoy this moment. Bam, there we go, another generator going, 2000 cabin damage. Lovely little explosion there, so we can leave him be. He's looking up into the sky, so he's no real threat. He's actually self-destructing over there because he was not gonna get back from that one. He was surely not gonna get back from that one. So nice little pop, and we can focus down the last 2 enemies. And I see another generator, so I take the chance and shoot it out as well. And away with that one. They have 1 guy left. Cleaned him up, and that is a wrap for the second game. But I want to introduce you guys to a final third game. Yep, that is right. 3 Clan Wars games in this one. The final one is versus Live, which brought a hybrid melee, 2 pulsar hovers, and a Helios hover. So a really nice setup against us. I actually really enjoyed this match because it just felt like we were so much on top. And Live is usually a pretty good clan. Or I shouldn't say usually. They are a good clan. So it was a pretty satisfying win. Not gonna lie about that one. First match was kind of weird for me. I had some really weird misses, but also some pretty good shots. So yeah, was all in all just a really weird round, but really enjoyed playing it, so that's always good. At the moment, just looking out for the dog, seeing if he was gonna go for some predictable route that I could go for. He didn't though, but landed a good hit there on the pulsar. And just trying to reposition here because they stack up on the left side, so it's much easier to get a shot over here. See the dog cloaking up, so I try to take a shot at him, call out for Lith that he is coming for Lith, and he does indeed come for Lith, but sadly I cannot get a hit on him. So I try to reposition, get down from up here, because it's actually hard for me to shoot down on them when, you know, because of that gun angle. And again, yep, I did try to fix it, but it's just hard to fix it if I also want to protect my hovers. Nevertheless though, in comes a pulsar, and look at that shot. It literally sent him into next Tuesday. Did you see how much his build flipped? I don't know if the hobby cabin and the increased explosion radius also gives a bigger recoil to your enemy, but it just feels like he's thrown way off whenever I shoot him. Look at that. His build literally wobbles all over whenever I hit him. So there might be some sort of synergy to the explosion radius and how much you actually affect the enemy with an impulse when you hit them. I'm not sure. Could be a theory that should be tested. Maybe Coldfire will be the guy to do that. He's literally our science guy for crossout. Super cool dude. If you haven't done it already, go check him out. He does some really nice science. So it's definitely worth a visit. Moving on into the second round of the third game here. This time they just decided to chase us down. And yes, I do take these breaks because I'm literally thinking about what I want to say next when there's not a lot of action going on. One thing that is pretty nice here is that, not that miss there, not really nice, but that Lith actually picks out their melee, so we can bam hammer him down before he even gets close to us. And actually he didn't really get to do anything in this match. He was just getting picked off from the beginning with some really nice hits, so he never really became a threat, and that's just a big advantage. To take down the dog before he gets to anyone, that really leaves you with a big advantage. So we take him down, and I just want to get up there. I jump down in order to just dodge the pulsar, but I want to reclaim that high ground just to make sure that we can, you know, just shoot down on them. So I just try to push him down. I go for the ram. Didn't really work out as well as I hoped for, but it worked, and that is the most important thing. So got him under control. I can now push on over to the rest of the enemies. He did get some of my front hovers, and that is a bit of a problem on this build, not gonna lie. It's not the best because it scrapes a lot as soon as you lose hovers, but you can really armor the hovers, so it is what it is. But we still end up winning the match because, as you can see, they are almost dead. And on that note, I just want to say, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another video. And as I said, almost 3K subscribers. Hit the subscribe if you want to become one of us. Until next time, have an awesome day, guys. Bye.